Wife sacrifices marriage for something I offered to give her. So I'm not really sure where to begin with this. I'm neither the most intelligent or the brightest individual on the planet. I guess I'll simply jump right in and start chatting. My wife, 26F, and I have been together for over 5 years. I am 32 years old and she is 26. I've been married for 2 years. In addition to my husband and myself, I have a 10-year-old daughter from a prior relationship. Since the 21st of April, my wife has made a new friend at work, F, and the regular friend things have begun. At first, everything seems to be normal. Texting. Using multiple social media applications to tag one another. Things that happen every day. F is also in a relationship with a male, however, it is unclear whether or not they are married. This information will be relevant later. Beginning in June, I began to notice a variety of things. Wife would remain up late at night, sometimes all night, texting and chatting, F. Her wife spends a great deal of time with her. Her arrival to my residence. Wife is on her way to their home. I assumed it was simply friend stuff this time, so nothing serious. Something strange happens one night, and I take note of it. My wife and I are in bed, and I am fast asleep. When I wake up, she rushes to the side of the bed and conceals her phone. It doesn't bother me in the least. I go back to bed and sort of snore while I'm awake, and she gets out of bed and goes to her phone to erase some text messages she received. I'm half sleepy and don't pay attention to what's going on at the time. During this period, we begin to engage in more physical confrontations. She is beginning to visit Foam-S more often, and they are beginning to travel more frequently. We got into a massive quarrel that culminates in the wife smashing a hole in a wall and fleeing to her F home around June 23rd. That night, after more texting and bickering, I tell her I want a divorce because we can no longer maintain a secure and stable relationship for our kid. This is something we discover afterwards. It goes off in a huge way on June 29th. I'm at work when I get a text message from my wife, which I read. F is going to live with us, according to my wife, since her boyfriend booted her out and she has nowhere else to go. I inform my wife that this isn't going to happen at all. At this time, I'm quite skeptical of my wife, and F, I tell her, you and your girlfriend can finally do whatever you want. I don't give a crap about anything anymore. She answers in the affirmative. Well, you know how much I adore you. I'll always love you and care about you since you're the father of my kid, and I'll never stop caring about you. And that won't alter in the future. Simply, I'm going to put it out there. F, partner believes that F and I are involved in some way. He's envious and controlling, and she wanted to go away. Sometimes sentiments arise, and there's nothing I can do about it for the time being. After you threatened to divorce me, I realized that you don't care as much about our relationship as I had previously assumed. When I phone her, she eventually tells me that she and F had a physical affair, confirming my fears that they have. To cut a long tale short, she tells me that it's because F was there for her emotionally throughout our conflicts and battles. She also continues to claim that she has just been selfish throughout the whole incident. As well as the fact that my wife was always interested in ladies. I've offered in the past to bring a female into our room in order to meet the wife's desire, but she rejected, claiming she didn't want to share me with anybody else in the house. I do my hardest to work through it, against my better judgment, and we begin to heal our connection as a result of it. I'm hardly the most wonderful person on the face of the globe. Things are spoken by myself. Mean and harsh things are spoken. That was something I subsequently regretted. Whatever it was, I always got the distinct impression that something wasn't quite right. The tale didn't exactly make sense to me. They claimed to have played and touched a couple of times, and only had one encounter with a woman. Despite this, it never added up. The texts F sent to my wife after they stopped conversing are nothing like what a fling would send to another woman. Things had been spoken about real love, and how she is the one. It was giving her signals that didn't make any sense and didn't make any sense in the context of the conversation. As a result, I've come to the conclusion that the bulk of them were eliminated. It was a shame that I never got to view the wonderful pictures that were on my wife's phone. Photographs of her with her makeup on and other such things are available. Just a few of weeks ago, things finally came to a head. I've gone out to F and her partner to convey my apologies for the inconvenience. I didn't think they deserved one, but I felt obligated to give them one since I had said some very heinous and insensitive things in the past. It was mostly for my personal advantage that I went through with it. F and I strike up a conversation, and she quickly fills me in on a great deal of what has occurred, at least according to her. After that, she drops the bombshell by inquiring as to if her partner may call me on my cell phone. As soon as I answer the phone, he tells me that I am unwilling to accept your apologies since I too had sexual contact with your wife. I immediately hang up. In essence, my wife had sexual encounters with this couple, as shown by the evidence. Testing a woman, as she put it, was something she did on several occasions with various ladies. Her boyfriend would not allow F to have sexual intercourse with my wife unless he was there, and he insisted on being present. Honestly, I'm entirely and completely destroyed. In doing something so selfish as she did, I feel as like my wife has betrayed me, our son, and my daughter, and I believe she has. Although I offered to help her, she declined because she didn't want another person to come too near to her. I understand why she did so. I'm at a loss for how to even begin to digest things, and I have no idea where to turn for assistance. Edit: I never anticipated that so many of you would come to my aid while I was in such pain. Thank you very much. And for that, I am really thankful to you. I feel that, given the amount of attention that this subject is getting at the moment, it is vital to convey this information. There has been no contact between my wife and the F or the F partner at any point in the past. The fact of the matter is, it turns out that F and her partner had approached me regarding their own marital difficulties. They all admitted to having me in their possession on more than one occasion. Wife and F have both admitted to kissing and cuddling one another in public. F thinks that it was more sexual when it was just the two of them in the house. In her complaint, the wife claims that her F husband is very jealous of her, and that she panics whenever they are alone together. Second, I would want to convey my appreciation to all of you for your difficult reality and kind remarks again. Given the fact that I do not have someone in whom I can place my trust, I am, I guess, turning to the internet for assistance. Edit 3, in response to several demands, it is now necessary to make yet another change. My wife has done all I've asked of her in order to get my family back together. In addition to notifying her family members, setting GPS tracking, and posting on social media, she has just agreed to a post-nuptial agreement. Story 2. Just found out my 36M wife, 36F, has been cheating. I'm a complete disaster. My heart is pounding nonstop, yet I am unable to weep. At least not for the time being. My instincts were correct, I was correct. I wasn't insane or simply a poor, paranoid spouse with low self-esteem as I had thought. After a while, I couldn't take it any longer, and did something I'd wanted to do for a long time, but had been afraid to do out of respect for her. I snooped through her phone. I discovered that they were exchanging nudes and arranging a time and location for a meeting. This dates back many months, if not almost a year. What was her justification? Because I moved from my own country to this one only to be with her. She is putting a lot of strain on herself, according to her. In order to keep me happy and engaged, she felt forced to do so, and she couldn't take it any longer. My mother felt obligated to make sure that happened because of my sacrifice of moving to a foreign country. I had told her that I wanted a child, but I also wanted to open my own bakery, and she felt that me wanting that made her feel obligated to make sure that happened because of my sacrifice of moving to a foreign country, Finland. The only problem is that she never shared her opinions with me. I had no clue she was feeling this way, and I believe she is to blame for it. I take satisfaction in the fact that I am calm and empathetic. I've never touched her or shouted at her, so why was she so terrified to tell me what she was thinking? We acquired another cat and purchased a home jointly. We recently renovated our roof and have been talking to banks and making promises, as well as discussing our future business ventures. Consequently, the concept of splitting is not even on her radar screen, even when she is sleeping with someone else at the same moment. I'm perplexed by your statement. My family adores her, and my parents believe she was given to me by God, and that I am really fortunate, blah blah. This has just occurred in the last few hours, so I'm still processing everything, but I don't see how I can ever trust her again. I'm willing to forgive her and go on, but the trust has been completely destroyed. Not being able to trust my own wife, not knowing where she is, or when she will return home again and again, is not the kind of life I want to live. My expectations for this post are vague at best, but I'm feeling very vulnerable and alone right now, so even a simple act of kindness would be really appreciated right now.